Hey guys, how's it going? It is Kara here with another Awaken Chaos Era video, and this one's actually really exciting. So they just announced on their Facebook that it is confirmed that real-time arena is coming to Awaken Chaos Era. And this is something that is not new to Awaken Chaos. Other games have done this, but it's really exciting and encouraging that it's already coming to Awaken Chaos, because I feel like this is one of the quickest release structures for a game like this that has been able to already get us real-time arena. This is a popular feature that a lot of games are doing. I just want to kind of discuss the topic, see what they have already shown us, and also kind of address some of the concerns that I have based on other games I played, because I've been playing a lot of these mobile games. Some of these games have done it well, some of these games have done it not so well, and I just want to discuss that because I think this is an interesting topic, especially when it comes to this game. Because right now at the moment, Arena is not necessarily one of the best game modes. And I'm hoping with Real-Time Arena that it's going to address some of the issues. But looking at this, so here is the image they released. So we don't have that much information, but there is a few things that we can learn from this that I like at the moment. So first of all, they have a pre-disable. So it looks like we have one ban. So this is a pick ban phase that looks very similar to like League of Legends, for example, where you pick the character you want to ban, and then you have a pick ban, or in the pick phase is going to be like, okay, I pick one character, and then you pick two characters, and then I pick two, they pick two, and then you kind of close it out like that, which I like. I like those kind of systems. I'm wondering if this is a pick ban system where if I pick a character, that's essentially banning it from the other character, where they won't be able to pick that hero anymore. So you would actually you can't have mirror matches, which I think would actually be a lot of fun in this game, because I think the best way to allow other characters to be used is not necessarily just having a really aggressive ban system, but to make it to where the strategy of the picks actually really matters. That would actually be a lot of fun for me, because then that kind of leads me to my next concern into this, is that this, regardless of the situation, is going to be a very long per match game mode. So if you go into this, just think about how long this would take. You have your ban, then you have your picks, then you get into the game. So there needs to be a reward structure and a rank system that's going to address the amount of time sink this is going to take per match. So if there's any events or whatever that are a per match basis, then hopefully it's fun enough and engaging enough. And I feel like that's going to come down to the rank system, where you don't have these blowouts in this a lot of the time, where you have really competitive matchmaking. That's going to allow this to happen. And then also, and especially for people that are free to play or light spinners, maybe a bracket system to where they're not going in and knowing on the pick ban screen that they already auto lose. That would also be pretty discouraging for a big player base. And then you got the biggest player base not even wanting to play the game because they already know they're going to lose immediately. And I've seen this in other games, maybe not necessarily the matchmaking or the known blowouts, but real-time arena in like Marvel Strike Force, for example. That's a notorious system that is known to be one of the least favorite game modes for a lot of content creators. So, just from what I've seen, I never really played it myself, but there's been a lot of complaints by it, because I feel like it sounds like the rewards don't match up with the amount of effort required. And they have a lot of tedious things where you already know you're going to either win or lose off the pick ban. Then you have events that are per match based. So that's a problem, where you're sitting there, you're just forcing yourself to get the rewards, not actually play the content. And I think that's hard to balance, but at the same time, hopefully, actually they worked that out in this. But looking at this right here, seeing how they have a pre-disable, and then the fact that it's pick ban, I like that a lot. So far from the little bit that we've seen, that I'm okay with it. I think it's going to be good. Obviously, this is only positive for the game, depending on how they implement it, depending on the rewards they're looking to get, because I'm assuming this is not replacing Arena, so this would be a whole nother reward structure based on the game. That's kind of how I'm looking at it so far, just looking at other games. I never played Summoner's War, I never played Epic Summon, so I don't know just how popular or what other issues those games have presented. If anyone knows, definitely let us know in the comments below, and just how well received this game mode is. Just on paper, to me, as a person that's played other types of games, like, because I don't really consider Marvel Strike Force like these gacha games. Like, I consider those in a separate category of like Shard Collector, where you have Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, you have Marvel Strike Force. That's their own category. But I played a ton of Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, and one thing I do want to bring up when it comes to that game is they do a really good job of letting you use your entire roster from a PvP standpoint, where you have game modes that rely on you to use not just your main team or just a team of 4, but you have to have like your defense is set up and your offense is set up. And then once you use that character, that's all you can use them for that game mode. I don't want to get into the specifics on that, but the thing I liked about it is that it allowed for interesting things to happen, because the best characters, you had like the god tier teams, and that's always going to be a thing in these games. But then you had to figure out what is the next best team, and what can this next best team beat this other next best team. And that's a lot of fun. It allows you to really, there's a lot more depth to the game when you have to go through all the characters and find interesting synergies between all those characters. So that could be another thing when it comes to this. And that's kind of why I'm hoping that the picks actually ban the other characters. The counterpoint to that, in my opinion, is not everyone's gonna have all the characters. Like I'm a whale. There are a lot of other content creators in this game are whales. So we come at it from the perspective of what's potentially, I try to look at it from the perspective of everyone, but in this particular situation, this is kind of looking at it from the perspective of, like, I have all the characters, so it'd be fun for me. But for most people, I don't think that's the case. I think they might have just like one core team or like a couple good characters, and so then that pick version that I'm talking about would be horrible for them. This is just like a real-time discussion of real-time arena on like kind of going back and forth on what would be good, what would be bad. I think definitely having brackets based on just how advanced the characters are or your roster is would be nice at the same time, but that's also a slippery slope, because what if you just have a really good free-to-play player, but then he's kind of off in his own bracket, so he never really gets to compete with the other people, even though he probably could. I don't know. There's a lot of really tough questions when it comes to these things, but it is fun to talk about. But that's pretty much it when it comes to real-time arena here, especially off one picture. But there looks to be a couple good quality of life things here already implemented just based off this one picture. I wonder what the timetable of this is going to be, if we're looking at a month, if we're looking at, a couple weeks from now. But the fact that we're already even seeing a live version of this, like this is like built into the game, I think that's really cool. Also, this is not the only thing that they've been teasing recently, and then apparently every day we're going to be getting another picture. There's another thing. I've just been going off their Facebook. So this was uploaded at the time of this recording 13 hours ago. So probably in another, 10 hours from the time of this video going out, we're going to get another picture for another game mode. So I'm looking forward to talking about that for sure as well. So also, just because I got you guys here and I haven't made a video on it specifically, I did want to kind of talk about what's going on here in the game, that we actually got more dungeons being added, more difficulties added to each dungeon. So we have hell stages here, and as you go through, now you can get to these harder stages, which I think is really good, because right now a lot of these are really hard already. But I was a little concerned that we were beating these dungeons a little too soon, especially based on how Raid was, where these dungeons took a very long time for us to beat. And we have so many quality of life things in this game that allows us to accelerate to this point so much faster than we ever could in Raid. But I was just a little bit worried that because we accelerated so fast, we would have this big gap of content, because Raid had a long time to be able to go from, you had to level up your 6 stars, then finally be able to beat Dungeon 20, like Dragon 20 was really tough, and then took a long time for the Golem, then it took a really long time for Fire Knight. And then like a year, 2 years later, then they finally released Dungeons 25. So this is another very encouraging thing, that they're already releasing harder versions of these dungeons that really most people haven't really beat too much, except, Ashe has been easily beaten. We have Queen and Rolling Tolpla. Those are all fine, but Gemini Dragon and Witch of the Wind have been still very difficult. And we now have an even harder version of the game mode, which I like a lot. It adds that carrot to chase. Like, I think that's one thing that this game was potentially missing, especially if everyone's having the dungeons on farms so fast, or at least too fast in my opinion, that kind of never ending, always being able to feel like you have a version of progressing in these games that I think is required for the longevity of the game was kind of lacking. But the fact that they're already increasing the difficulty and allowing more stages of the dungeons this soon, I think that's good. And then pairing that with the new content that they're releasing in Real-Time Arena and apparently a couple other things, I think we're in for a lot of good updates here to come. I think this is a really positive thing for the game, that they're actually going out of the way and doing this, because, they could talk a big game all they want, but the fact that it's actually happening, I'm a big fan of that, because especially coming from these other games where the updates always felt a little too long, I think this is good. I think this is a good pace, is what I'm trying to say. So that's going to be it for this video. just kind of talking about the updates here. Looking forward to Real Time Arena. Curious what you guys have to say down in the comments below when it comes to these topics. And with that, guys, I'm out. Peace.